Hello and welcome to Business Exposed, the podcast which discusses the unfiltered truth and reality of running a business day to day. Today's guest is Kat Tidey from Tidey Solutions, often referred to as the Scottish Stacey Solomon. Today we cover a lot of subjects, including regulation or probably the lack of regulation within the cleaning industry. As always, if you could like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to and share with as many people as possible that you feel would benefit from the podcast. So as always, sit back, relax and enjoy. Let's start off with the elephant in the room then, right? Tidey is definitely your surname.
Yep, Catherine Ann Tidey.
Catherine Ann Tidey.
Just call me Kat though.
Just call you
Catherine's
Kat.
only when I'm
Okay.
in trouble.
I didn't know if your actual surname was actually Tidey or that was just a
Yeah.
play actually on the company name.
Honestly, do you know what made it worse? Was back in the day, remember Celebrity Juice? The programme. So I was in high school at that point.
Right.
And obviously Keith Lemon came out with Bang Tidey.
Yeah.
So the amount of
That's got
wee
disaster
guys,
written all over it in high school.
were messaging me on MSN like, hey, Bang Tidey.
Oh.
I'm like,
That'll make a great Instagram reel, by the way.
oh god. And then I never knew much about football either, but people tried to be funny with the opposite and being like, wait, Cat Messi, Lionel Messi. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Oh man, to be fair, I'm sure there's a few jokes off the back of that.
Yeah.
But talking about your childhood then, let's go like a wee bit back to the sort of the younger Kat. Talk to us like a wee bit about your upbringing. What was life like at home, sort of up taking the point of your corporate career?
So I was actually born in London.
Right, okay.
Do not sound that
Okay.
at all.
So how did you end up here then?
So my mum and dad split and she brought me up here
Okay.
because we were in like a rough part of London.
Right,
and
okay.
it was like when they split, it was weighing up where is she going to have a better upbringing.
Right, okay.
Up to Scotland became. I was a bully's dream because I come up
Right.
with an English accent. We had no money, so I was in like hand-me-downs and like not in the best of gear. And I was an absolute geek. So like I loved like sitting doing my homework. Like I didn't want to go outside and play. I wanted to
Right.
sit and draw all the time. Like they actually called me the hermit. I hated being out and about. But I like loved primary school, even though like just like bullying's bullying. It's not as like severe
Yeah.
as what it is now. Because
Yeah.
we never had online stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was just like in the playground, like
Aye.
fucking
I know what you
play
mean,
together.
especially in Glasgow as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, in school people just home into these things.
Yeah.
And children are quite mean. That's before even the world of social media and Instagram and
Yeah.
etc.
So then high school happened, and that was the weirdest time for me because like it was always just me and my mum,
Right.
but she drilled into me so much that look, you're not going to be out in the streets hanging about.
Yep.
You're not going to be going to parties underage. Like I can't give you much, but I'll make sure you get a bloody good education. So
Yep.
she was like strict
Yeah.
with me when it came to that. And I done my prelims a year early,
Right.
you know, being a geek and all.
Yeah.
And my results came back, and for English I got a D,
Right.
and she was like, are you joking? You've literally not even bothered or tried with that.
Right. Okay.
And you're just at that age, oh, shut up. Like, I can't be
know.
bothered.
I know,
blah,
because
blah.
at such a young age, there's so much pressure around. Like, what do you
Yeah.
want to do at such a young age?
Aye.
And I don't think most people at that age, whatever they decide they want to do, most likely end up doing something completely different.
Yeah. Well, I'd always said I wanted to be a vet,
Right.
right? So
Okay.
this always dead set for when I was wee, was just obsessed. This is what I was going to do. Was doing science at high school, and I was like, I've got no idea what they're talking about. This was not coming natural to me.
Okay.
Whereas like the more creative side, like arts and music and stuff,
Yeah.
found that an absolute doddle, didn't need to try. But then I was like, right, I'm going to do like extra work to try and make this dream come true. And then they held an open day at Glasgow Uni,
Right.
and it was like, you went and done a seminar in like whatever section you were looking to do learning in. And then we got took to this practical bit. And I'm not even joking when I say this, but they had this like massive plastic horse's arse.
Right.
Right? Like, and you had to stand up in a stool and get like the gloves on like up to here. And I was like, that's a fucking awfully long glove.
I think
kind of
that's
thing.
what I'm trying to tell you. This is the reality of this job.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you're going to be going through on a daily basis.
So, well, they'd literally like plastic horse arse, but it was like real horses insides. And they were like, can you feel where the lump is, like to locate a tumour? When I was stood there, like shoulder deep up this horse, I was like, there's no way I'm doing this for a living. Absolutely not. I'm out. So then panic struck in because it was like, fill your UCAS form in. And I'm like, I can't write and be like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But none of my family had ever went to uni.
Right, okay.
So it was like, do I go? Is it worth it? And my mum's like, oh, you're going. Like, good education, then do what you want.
Yeah.
This is the bargain. So I was that guy, and I hate saying this. I turned to my pal and went, what you doing? She went, fashion. Sound. I'll come with you.
I'll do the same.
Aye. I
Is
get
that
in.
the route you went down?
Aye.
Right, okay.
But I get in and she didn't.
Oh, wow.
Aye.
That must have been an awkward conversation then.
Oh, she parted ways with me. Like, she went on a travel year.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, from my inbox, because
Aye.
just didn't hear from her after high school. So I went, and I've always been, like, quite a humble wee person.
Right.
So I just turned up, like, in a wee comfy trackie, because I was like, I'm going to be sat in a lecture hall, like, taking notes. And I turned up, and these lassies were, like, Topshop had spewed all over them. And I
Right,
was
okay.
like, wow, like, I'm in the wrong subject here. So I'd done that for the full 4 years.
Right.
The more I'd done it, the more I enjoyed it. But it was such a toxic industry. It was awful.
In what
like,
way?
So we were like, whilst doing your learning, it wasn't really at the point of where everybody's included. There
Right,
was
okay.
like no diversity. Like, it was, we would want like the skinnier models, the better,
Right.
because they say it's like you want a coat hanger walking down the
Right,
runway
okay.
with your designs, and
Okay.
it's less material you need to use, less cost for your fashion shows and things.
Okay.
So this was kind of getting drilled in naturally. And then one of my pieces was picked to go on the red carpet at the Scottish Fashion Awards.
Right.
So I thought, this is it. I'm Vivienne Westwood 2.0.
Yep, I've made it now.
I am huge. Check me out. And Shirley Bassey came up to me and was like, oh my God, like, your outfit's amazing. And all I went was, I'm from a wee village. That was my line to her.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the imposter syndrome.
aye. And it was, I felt a wee bit like fish out of water of,
Yeah.
I don't mind doing the designs behind the scenes, but putting me in front of press and that, like,
Yeah.
no thank you. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to hold my own fashion show, like, and go down that route. Like, my own
Right.
designs, other local designs, like, let's get a community going here.
So what
and-
age were you at roughly this point?
Like, just 20, so
okay.
like proper young. And at that time there was like a good underground scene for fashion shows and
Right.
things. Like, we were doing them at the Arches and all this, and
Right.
there was such a great creative buzz. But there was a moment where it settled into place. Well, two main moments. The first one was a model came like for a casting
Right.
for the fashion show, and she was a size 10 to 12, and I had to say to her, the clothes aren't going to fit you. A 10 to 12. I've got cheek.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, she was smaller than me. I'm like,
That's a
it's
tough
not gonna,
conversation, especially to a female.
yeah. Like, it was just horrible, and I could see the look in her eyes, and I was like, oh, this isn't who I am,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Especially if you're saying you've came from like humble upbringings and
Yeah.
conduct yourself like that, then that's quite a cutthroat conversation.
Yeah. It was awful. But weirdly, like, I ended up becoming friends with that girl and still speak to her this day.
Right, okay.
But the second moment was, I'd done all this hard work at uni. Bear in mind, like, I was the geek all the way through my education. I
Yeah.
put more than 100% in where I could, apart from, the failed prelim. And literally, I got a message from, I can't remember the management company, but the Geordie Shore lot had became huge,
Right, okay.
and one of them wanted a parcel of my stuff sent down. So I was like, here we go.
Yeah,
Check
this is
me
it.
out. Like, because it was everybody wanted to be partying with them. Like, everybody wanted to be them as well. And
there was, I remember it back then. I mean, there was so many fashion companies, especially, I mean, I can only talk from the male side of things, that then surrounded their brand around what everybody in Geordie Shore was wearing at the point in time.
Yeah. Oh, God. And it wasn't the best of stuff.
Yeah.
But my designs were, like, around, like, youth culture, like, Glaswegian, like, we had Madwear. That blew off for Tea in the Park and stuff. But it was one of the Geordie Shore girls. I'd sent her the stuff down. Bear in mind, she never paid for it. Fine, fair enough, because I thought this is going to be exposure.
Yeah.
A picture went up of her in one of my designs, and I got an invoice for 250 quid.
What?
Aye. So, in the most Glaswegian way, I told them to ram it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
It's a polite way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when this shift started happening of influencers and no, you're going to give me your things for free and pay me to be seen in it.
Yeah.
The more I'm seen in it, the more you pay.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on. I've just done a dissertation and all this. This was nowhere to be mentioned. Like, I don't know how to combat this or what to do. So basically, the fashion scene started crumbling in Scotland. The Scottish Fashion Awards got taken down to London. So we all started, like, not protesting, like, out in the streets, but we're like, do you know what? We are getting down with this ship. And everybody started going out and just doing their own thing.
Okay.
I ended up in the call centre circle.
Right.
Where you literally move every 6 months because you're like, shifts are shit.
Yeah.
The folk are shit. You're getting spoken to like shit in the phone.
Yeah. That's quite a very dictatorial job towards you.
Yeah. So then I went and I worked for a bank. My mum got me the job in there because she was in there for like 20 odd years.
Right, okay.
And I kind of struggled a bit being in the corporate environment because there was some things I couldn't understand. Like, what's the issue if I'm listening to music in my headphones whilst I'm doing this? Like, I'm not on the phones. I'm not speaking to anybody. Like, I couldn't detangle that in my head.
If you're saying from a young age you're quite creative and a wee bit out there and then you're going into an environment where it is very dictatorial and like process driven. Yeah.
And it was just, I felt like I didn't fit in, but then one of the worst moments I've ever been through in my life happened and I got shown, you're just a number in there. And it was, I ended up having a miscarriage, like, in work. Didn't even know I was pregnant.
Right, okay.
And I went up to my manager and I was like, listen, I need to go to hospital. I'm having a miscarriage. And his first response was, is your work basket empty? I could have punched him so much in the face and I was like, I'm out of here. So I never worked for them after that.
How long were you with them for?
About 2.5 years.
Right, okay.
And then when I walked away from them, I landed a great job with a property firm. I loved it. It was Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. The wage was amazing because it was an American company.
Right.
But again, I couldn't, like, their values weren't lining up with me. And there was one wee thing, right? And it was, they wanted the American kind of culture brought into our calls.
Yeah.
And at the end of our calls, they wanted us to always say, thank you for your business, or you fail your call.
Right.
So I was having these, like, letting agents on the, like, other line being like, gonna stop saying this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm speaking to you 2-3 times a day. You're doing my nothing. And I, like...
They're just going to talk to me like a human being.
Aye. And so, like, I was messaging them on LinkedIn being like, listen, I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to fail my call here if I don't say this. I need to say it. But I was getting the information that I needed. But then when they started getting too pissed off with me and they were like, oh, honestly, no, away you go. Or they'd start taking the mick at me. They stopped taking me serious.
Right, okay.
And I was like, this isn't working. I don't care enough about this company to go through all this. So I went back.
That's quite a shame as well for companies that are like that, because again, I've came from a sort of corporate background where everything is a lot of process driven.
Yeah.
And you definitely need to have processes to maintain standards, but if the employee is doing their job to an individually high standard, then they don't need to be doing everything to, you know, that much to the letter of the law, to the
Yeah.
extent of that you're even getting told specifically what to say in a phone call.
Yeah.
It's actually just had the reverse effect, because you're now there because of that.
I know.
No, it just has a complete reverse effect.
But then after that, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go back and work in a bank. My mum had like worked in our bank all her days,
Right.
and it seemed to. I watched her go from being nearly evicted to stable house, car, and I was like, do you know what? This could be a little stable life for me. So went to work there, and everyone was like, this is a great bank to work for. Like, when you come in, there's so much room for career progression. Was there fuck?
Right.
Like, they got you on the phones, and that's where you stayed. So again, with the managers, I got on with a lot of people in there, but my manager, I went through, yet again, it's like the curse of the banks, but I had to flee a very bad relationship, but it was during lockdown as well. And it was, I had a Fiat 500, pack what you can, gone, and became homeless, essentially.
Okay.
Uh,
Where did you go?
So I phoned one of my friends, and they let me put some stuff in their cupboard. And then I just turned up at my mum's, like, hiya, I know that you've not got the space for it, but here's me and my stuff.
Yep.
Can I come in?
I need a bed.
So I kind of like couch surfed between her and friends and things, because I was very well aware it's obviously going to be overwhelming for my mum of, all right, we're in lockdown together now.
Yeah, aye. You've got me full time.
Yeah. And I became such a, not a toxic person, but I became mad at the world, because I was like stuck in at school. I've done everything. I've always had a job. I've never like dodged tax, or never even had a punishment exercise at school. And then I had to phone the council and be like, I'm homeless.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then I was terrified I was going to end up in like one of these shelters or something. And I basically spoke with like one of the people that worked in the council, and I was like, look, I'm terrified. I suffer with anxiety and depression. What's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
And then luckily within 6 weeks they had me rehomed.
Right, okay.
And it was a 1-bedroom flat. I'm still in it to this day, because I've like done it up like to me. But I got the keys on Christmas Eve, and that Christmas I woke up. My mum was a carer at that point. She was half retiring.
Right.
She came round to visit, and the two of us sat on my floor with no carpets. I had one light bulb, and we ordered an Indian, and that was Christmas dinner. And to me, I was like, what the hell's happened?
Yeah.
How I was watching people on social media that were horrible, like to me in high school, or I'm not saying they don't deserve happiness, but they're like, "Ooh, bought a house, me and my man, like pregnant, married," and I'm sat on a carpetless floor with an Indian.
See, the thing is, but I think that's where, again, listen, in social media, right, yes, we do need to sell ourselves, right? However, there is a lot of bullshit in the background, because see what you see there, if everything is portrayed very, very well.
Yeah.
The reality of it is, I think most of the people, I'm not saying to that extent, right, of sitting Christmas Day in a floor with Indian, but I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background in people's relationships, especially, that they don't. Now, why would you portray that on social media, right? But I think it does create that illusion of that other people go and look at their lives and go, well, why is mine not like that? But I don't think there's actually anything you're missing out on, because I don't think anybody's actually been truthful. Plus thing is as well, is that I think when you're in that position, right, of like the almost the low point, right, and you've got nothing, I think that's where you go like this is where the story begins.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough at the time, but this is where this, you know, I'm the guy in the story, the woman in the story. This is the beginning of the story. Like, I'm going to make something for myself and reflect back, which you're doing right now, on that moment of, Jesus, how the hell did I get there?
Do you know, like, weirdly, I know my mum's moment. Like, I always go on about my mum, like, she's my, wee Tina is my, like, idol.
Right.
But her, like, what in the hell is happening here moment was when we first got our house in this Tidey-Built village, and it was a 1 and a 4 in a block.
Right.
And everything we had was hand-me-downs, like everything. We had mismatched furniture, bizarre colours of walls, like it was just us. And again, we had no carpet on the kitchen, it was just a rug.
Right.
But There was one day I was in primary 1 and I was walking back from school and it was snowing, and she was stood at the window, and I was like, oh no, is Mary my miss or something? What she's standing at the window for? Like, oh good God.
What's going on?
And I walked in and she was hyper. And I was like, all right, what's happening here? We won the lottery, what's going on?
Caught off guard.
And what it was she'd managed to get a hold of a video recorder and the Muppets Christmas Carol on video.
Right.
And she splashed out for Heinz tomato soup. And like we got like wee posh bread to eat.
Yeah.
The two of us sat on the floor where Heinz soup watching Muppets Christmas Carol, and every year we do that on the lead up to Christmas to mark
that's
that
class.
like the
Just
moment of
just to remember that.
aye, we're going up in the world.
Oh, I love that. The thing is, especially now, then when you could do that now on a daily basis, it makes you
Aye.
appreciate things
Yeah.
so much more when you've came from a very humble beginning
Yeah.
in life. And I think people that don't have that don't appreciate it as much.
Yeah.
You know. So
But the curse of my manager
right.
at the bank. So when I was in my wee flat eventually, I had to get all my work gear set up, and it was like the 2 monitor screens, and like she were taking calls and stuff in the house. So
So were you doing this from your mum's house at this point in time?
yeah, and
Right,
like
okay.
like taking it to like if I could get it in like an auntie's house, a pal's house,
Right, okay.
like it was just chaotic.
Mhm.
But I got my flat and thought, right, here we go, we've got stability now, like blah blah blah. And I started doing therapy and stuff, like because I was like that rock bottom, and there was a procedure changing in the workplace, like in the script, like for one of the calls. And on this Zoom call in front of my entire team, my manager went, don't worry, Kat, don't be taking one of your panic attacks. Just follow the script. I looked at him, not dead in the eyes, but dead in the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm off. Never worked for them again.
Yeah.
I went to HR and they were like, oh, it's just how he is.
Yeah.
Well, that's a losing battle. Like, really? So
you can't say that, especially if you are actually suffering
Yeah.
from anxiety, and I think that's a risk that people take, is they don't know. You never know what somebody else has got on in their personal life. Even if somebody presents well, you never know what they've actually got going on in the background, which gives you a reason as why you should
yeah.
be kind to everybody, because you never know what somebody's going on. That wee tiny wee
Yeah.
comment that you think's a joke can break somebody if they're at their lowest point.
I was just so disgusted in him, and then looked back as well, like on the previous experiences and stuff. So weirdly with my anxiety, like I need to be handsy. Like I can't just sit still.
Okay.
So I turned up at my mum's and I rearranged her full kitchen while she was out.
Right.
So she's come back like,
What's going on here?
aye, what is happening? And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm really anxious. Then she came back another day and I'd painted her spare room for her because she said she was going to do it. And she was like, gonna just let me know what's happening. So
Did you get some of the Yankee tablets for Jack and Victor rearranging the
Oh,
tins,
God, aye.
rearranging the tins in the kitchen?
honestly, you should have seen me. And then Stacey Solomon brought out the TV show Sort Your Life Out.
Yep.
And it was like, I could clear out Tina's stuff, whip it in the garden or in a room, just start again and make it look all nice. So this kept happening. It was weird. It was as if I was like nesting.
Yeah.
And then my papa was alive at the time and stayed a few doors up. And she was like, do you want to go help him with his cleaning? So I was like, aye, no bother. And my mum stays in this wee village where, if you've ever watched Two Doors Down,
Yeah.
well,
I love it.
this is what it's like. So word started getting about, like, oh, want to come in and do our cupboards, want to do this, like, oh, wee Jean, she's wanting one, like, and everybody's always got like a pal or something that's wanting it done.
Yeah.
And then there was a girl I was friends with at the time who had a cleaning business. So shadowed her for a bit, like helped her with her social media and stuff. And I was like, oh, I would love to do like the more hoarding kind of style. Like I love just getting in about people's cupboards and finding like out-of-date food and just shite.
It's funny because that would be most people's idea of hell.
Oh, no, I
That's
love
your
it.
idea of pleasure.
Aye. Yep. See, like the older, like a packet of rice is, and I see the date, I'm like, 2007, what?
Go through people's cupboards. What's the most out of date food I can find here?
Aye. Like, I don't know why. I don't know where it stemmed from, but love it. And then it was one of my pals. He was helping my mum redecorate her room, and he was like, "Wait, Tidey Solutions," and it just ping. That was it. I went, "Aye, why not? Like, do you think do you think folk would go for it, kind of thing?"
Do you think this can actually be a real thing?
Aye. And he's gay and got like the most elaborate house you can think of.
Right.
And he went, "Come and clean my gaff, take pictures, punt them online." So I was like, okay, no bother.
How long ago was this roughly?
About 3 years now.
Right, okay.
Coming up to 3 years.
Okay.
And I was charging like £13-15 an hour. Just like, oh, please, someone let me come and clean for you.
I think that's always the kind of, how do you put it, not the fear, but when you start off with a business, you've got the fear that you don't want to come across too expensive.
Yeah.
Because you need the business, and it becomes your own income, you're reliant on it. But I suppose you've now got to a stage where you know your worth, you know your standard, you know the solution that you can provide, and you know you've got value in the price of whatever it is that you charge.
Yeah. Because I think there was that fear as well, like the cleaning industry, it's such low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
But people's perception, it's as if they think I'm turning up with a bottle of Zolflora and a mop bucket and like to chat to you for 2 hours. Like, I didn't anticipate how hard a job it actually is. Like, it takes its toll on your body, but also it's so easy to ruin someone's home or like place of business if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So this is why I kind of try to be so open on my socials and not be like in a condescending way, but be like, I wouldn't be using this like on that surface. Or if you've got these like matte black covered taps, this is how you actually clean them.
Yeah.
Keep on top of them. Don't use this. Like, try to be
Educational.
Yeah. And then I also, this is just a new thing for me, but with social media, started vlogging, right?
Okay.
And it's mainly because...
Where's that, on YouTube or what?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, you should have seen the first one. I was like, yes. Like, oh, hiya. But I was like, I took a step back and realised I'm going into somebody's home.
Mm-hmm.
They're not about, like, a lot of the times when I'm there. So I don't want them to have this, who the hell's getting in my house?
Yeah.
So I'm so transparent with social media. Like, if I'm having a mental day, like, you're going to know about it. If I'm just watching Only Fools and Horses on the telly, you're going to know about it. Like, this is me. Because I just want them to have that trust in me and not think I'm just wee Joe blogs coming in. And because it's like they're giving me their house keys or I'm being left with their pets
they're trusting you with their literally all their prized possessions. Like, all their most important things are going to be in their house. And if they're not in the house, then your right trust is probably the main factor of what you're doing, especially when there will be so many different cleaners out there.
Yeah.
But I suppose what you're offering is a slightly... Talk to us a wee bit about the services that you're offering, which is mainly at the house.
Yeah, so the standard kind of things that I'll do like day to day is domestic, so just within people's houses. With some cleaners, they're like, no, we're there to clean, but if I'm there for, say, an example, a 2-hour block, see if somebody's like, I actually need help with tidying rather than like deep cleaning things, I'll do that. So it's like I'll cater to what that house is actually needing rather than me pushing their service, pushing my service on them. I also do commercial cleaning, end of tenancies. So if someone's moving out, I'm in, getting it all glam for the new people arriving. And then the best thing is the decluttering and organising jobs. I swear it's like the biggest high for me ever, seeing the difference. And I take a step back and like, I done that.
Yeah, I done that.
Yeah. And realising how much of a difference you actually make. And the first family I ever done it for, it was a mum and her 2 daughters. She was a young mum, but her partner had passed away.
Right.
And what she done was have the 2 girls sleeping in beside her because it was a comfort for her, she wasn't on her own. But the kids' room get turned into that room.
Right,
like,
okay.
In it and like...
Everything just getting thrown in it.
Yeah, like... Christmas boxes, or like if they were building shelves that are still yet to be made, like this thing was like floor to ceiling. And she was like, look, even if you can only do a wee bit and get the ball rolling, like anything would help. I just don't know what to do. So I asked them, like, look, can you just go out for the day? And the reason that I do that is because when you start bringing things out and they're like, oh, I've not seen that in ages.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been looking for that. And it could be covered in mold and stuff and being like, this probably isn't the safest thing for you to be having.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, so I never throw anything away that's of value or could be sentimental. But if something is dead, it's going.
It's going.
But yeah, so I basically ended up clearing that room, organising it. And it was a fun room because it was a kid's room. So it was like bringing that like kind of spirit back to life.
Yeah.
And when it was done, they walked in and the kids just went, we've got our room back. She's crying, I'm crying. The kids are buzzing. Oh my God. It was just
emotional.
Aye. And it just kind of took me to this wee place of you don't know what's going on inside people's households.
Yeah.
Like, you would have never known that girl was going through hardship, and the house was like so like bougie and stuff on the outside. You would have never known that wee room was in there. And so yeah.
I always find that as well, is that certainly from what I do in the property point of view, it's the same theory applies, right? Is that I get into this thinking it was glamorous, right? And it's actually anything but. It's anything but, right?
Yeah.
But when you go into somebody's house, there's always a story, there's always a reason why they're selling. Nobody just nobody just buys a house and then realise in 5 years it's went up by 50 grand, so I'll sell it, make myself homeless. It doesn't happen, right? There's a reason, whether it's like divorce, separation, inheritance, or generally financial. And when I go into a lot of people's houses, the reason I'm saying I'm talking about it's relevant to what you're doing, you're going into somebody's house and then you're seeing how they're living day to day. And more often than not, it doesn't present the same way as that they're presenting outside the house. You know, in that example you used, there was a story. There's a story behind it. They didn't just go, I'll just throw all this junk in that room. There's a reason and a story behind it. As to why I think somebody's saying, I mean, I don't know, does that bit ever get to you when you go in and you get to the root of why this has happened? Does it ever affected you and walked away when that was a tough situation? Yeah,
like when I was clearing out someone's house that passed away, and there was just all these letters and stuff, like, because you don't really see letters anymore unless it's a bill coming through your door. Do you know what I mean? But it was handwritten letters and just all these photos. And I ended up just like sitting, having a coffee, just like looking through this guy's photos, being like, oh my God, like, this is somebody's like wee unit. Do you know what I mean? And I never met him, but he looks like such a great guy. But then again, like when you're dealing with their family, it's you feel like you're grieving with them. It is the most bizarre
you're on that journey with them as well.
Yeah. But the only thing about the hoarder cleans is sometimes I'm not alone. I always FaceTime a family member or a pal whenever I'm at these, like every like hour and a half, being like, I'm all right. Because with them, you don't know if you're going to fall, if something's going to fall on you, or if somebody dodgy is going to walk in the door. Yeah. So always tying with someone. So I FaceTime my mum, like, hey, I'm here. But this was a proper floor to ceiling. Like I had to like climb to get in to the kitchen door. Man. It was a baddie. And I seen droppings everywhere. So I'm like, right, hazmat suit on, here we go. Like, face mask, like literally looks like the thing from Monsters Inc. Like I'm like, right, I'm ready. And I was speaking to my mum and I just felt running up my leg. It's a rat ran up my leg. A rat? Yeah. And then when you're clearing, you can just hear like the wee like round about and you can't see them, but you know they're there. So now I'm immune to it. I just try and like obviously
just crack on.
Yeah. Just like, oh, you alright?
I need to ask you, what's the worst thing and most interesting thing you've came across?
do you know, people would probably expect me to like go down the sex toy route. I'm totally immune to that.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a wee bit awkward, like making eye contact with someone if you've seen one of them lying out.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, all right.
That's what I was going to say.
Have a good night." But the worst thing, there was a landlord and a tenant
Right.
basically at war for 6 months. But what the landlord didn't know is that the tenant had buggered off, right? And I don't know if it's been the rent went up or he wasn't paying rent, whatever. Something big went down because when I went in to that flat, the tenant had wrote "fuck you" and shit smeared on the tiles in the bathroom, and I was like, here we go. Mrs. Hinch doesn't get that. Do you know? So there's.
I was going to say that's a bit. That's a bit the social media doesn't see.
Yeah.
That's a bit. It's not the glamorous part of the job.
Aye.
But
So,
where would that even come into your mind to do that? Like,
you see it all. Like, there's people with some bizarre things in their home, and then, but I'm a wee bit like Isa for Still Game. I'm like, what you collecting that for? Like, how'd you get into that? Like, do you know what I mean? I end up so
21
like,
questions.
aye, it's wild. But I hate cleaning a house that doesn't have a dog.
Right.
Like, I swear to God, see just getting a dog hug. Like, I'm such a spinster when it comes to that. And you just feel like you've got a wee pal coming round helping you
On the journey with you.
Actually, it's so lonely. Like,
Yeah.
when you're spending the day in your garden in a house, in your car in a house.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're just kind of like, oh, there's somebody here giving me
Aye.
attention. All right, bestie.
I'm not
How's
alone.
you been? Aye.
How long does it take you to do? I mean, I know it may depend on the severity of how much a
Yeah.
hoarder somebody's been, but on average, how long does it take you to do one of these?
The average booking's 2 to 3 hours, but that's because I will have went in originally and done a deeper clean,
Right, okay.
just so it's easier to maintain moving forward.
Right, okay.
So I'm really lucky with my clients. They do book frequently, like, and they keep on top of things that they've not asked me to do. Like, sometimes they're like, don't go in that room, or
Right, okay.
do you know what I mean? So it's usually 2 to 3 hours. End of tenancies, that's just all down to the state that the person's left it in.
Yeah.
You know, hashtag fuck you, like that.
Yeah, I was
that
going
took a
to.
while.
I was going to say, as a landlord, I can imagine the state
Yeah.
that some people leave it in, especially if they're leaving a wee bit disgruntled and think,
Yeah.
do you know what, somebody else's. They're going to. That's what they always say anyway. They're going to send cleaners in anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it to
Well,
Mars.
weirdly, like, I kind of feel like, just with my experience with agents and landlords, cleaners are like the last thought process when it comes to property. They're
Right.
like, we're going to do like electrical work here. We're going to paint it this. We're going to renovate it like this. And it's like, aye, very good. But if you're renting that out, this person doesn't know how to like clean this surface. Or if you're wanting a builder's clean done and we tell them the price and it's like, oh, well, can you not just do this? And it's like, well, no. Like, we get looked at as, oh, we'll give them the wee pennies at the end, but they're willing to spend so much on renovation work. So it would be good to be more at the forefront of their mind of, I need to include this cost.
Yeah.
Like, I actually need them.
Yeah, do you know something? That's a very true point actually, because being honest with you, it's not something I factor in. I do know it's going to come. No, but
Yeah.
you're right. I do know it's going to come. Right, it's one of the ones that I think. Right, I know it's coming. I know I've got a deep clean at the end. But you're right. See, from the word go,
Yeah.
then it's something. You're right. I think about every other thing in terms of factoring a cost in, but I've never once thought about actually factoring the cost into that, which
Yeah.
is strange because I know the cost is coming.
Yeah.
So if there's a takeaway for me here, then
Yeah.
there's definitely one there.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah, 100%. So see when you've then, like, let's unpack a wee bit. So you've then started the business, you've realised, hold on, right, there's a wee bit of demand here, this is something I can do. What was the point where you went, right, this is 100% it for me, like I'm going to set up, because obviously you're quite big in social media, you've quite a good following. What was it kind of thinking behind that? Was that to just grow your personal brand? Was that to grow the business? Take people on the journey with you? Because you've been you've got a successful business off the back of social media.
Yeah, it was kind of like the whole duck metaphor, like, oh, look at me, I'm doing absolutely fine, but my feet were like, whoa, fucking hell, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And it was more as I said, like my thought process of the more open I am, the more relatable I'll be, the more people I'll kind of get.
Yeah.
Or even like I've always said my platforms are open for people. Like if you have a question, like about something, even if you're not going to book me, like I will help you because I don't want you to fuck up your home kind of thing. But when it was, I used to think, oh my God, I've got 2 houses today. Oh, here I go.
Yeah.
But then when it was like, then mails were still coming through, and then people's neighbours were like, well, you're here on this day, would you mind doing ours after? Like, and it was really grown arms and legs.
Yeah.
And I went into the like job centre place and was like, I need to speak to somebody here because I don't know what to do. Like, I've got a business happening and like, I know I need to company's house. What is that? I don't know what the hell to do here.
Yeah.
So they gave me some advice, and one of my friends was like, I use this accountant, like, I'll set you up with her. Oh my God, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Because she literally went, look, give me this info and I'll sort everything for you. So, and it was that peace of mind of, I'm not going to have a tax man chasing after me. Like, I'm not going to have, because you get that fear of, like, right, I'm liable for all this. I want it to have a good reputation. I'm just going to, like, do this properly.
Yeah.
And then there was this thing on Instagram, and it was a new awards ceremony. And I'd been, like, less than a year at this point. And I went, fuck it. I'm going for it.
Right.
And that comes from my dad, right? He's self-employed.
Right.
He's a painter and decorator down in London.
Okay.
But he's always taught me, just go and speak to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, just go for it.
And the exact moment that he instilled this in me was I was at Heathrow Airport because I used to fly up and down like between both parents.
Right.
And Emma Bunton for the Spice Girls was in front of me at Boots, and I was like 8, so they were like in their prime.
Yep. And
I was like, oh my god, and I like stood outside the shop and was crying like, oh my God, Dad, it's baby Spice. And he was like, well, go and speak to her. And I'm like, can you not go and ask her for her autograph? Like, please, please, please. And he went, you want it? Go and speak to her.
Yeah.
Went and spoke to her. So lovely. And ever since then, I'm like, she's like huge and famous and was lovely.
Yeah.
I'll go and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So got chatting with this award ceremony. And then I got the pack through that I was a finalist. And I was like, oh, shit. And I phoned my mum
This
and
is
went,
real now.
I went, Tina, I've done something. And she's always like, oh no, what is happening now?
What's going to come out your mouth now?
And so I told her, but you to get people to vote for you.
Right.
And I was like, oh God. So I was messaging people being like, mind I came and seen your band in 2017, like gonna return the favour and get me voted for.
Going to help me out.
And then you get the pack through that you need to pay like 120 quid or something for a ticket. I was like, what? You need to pay what? Like I never factored that in.
Yeah.
And so it was just such a bizarre thing because when the voting was closed, me and my mum had actually flew to Dubai and it was my first time. So I was like, I'm sitting in Dubai, I'm a finalist in a business awards, I've got my own wee business, I've got a dash hound. That was always my thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever I do in life, I'm going to get a dash hound. I was like, I've made it. Like this is happening for me. And I felt so proud of myself that I was just like, oh, I done this. Like I'm not working for someone. And it was the wee things of I can decide who I want working in my business. I can decide who like I'll work for essentially, or when I'll do it, what area I want to be in. And it was just like such a wee twinkle moment. And then I get runner up.
Aye.
So I was like,
and how long had you had the business for that point? You say about
less than a year.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Honestly,
That's phenomenal.
But I was steaming because I was nervous, like absolutely steaming. Like everybody at our table was. And so we were the loudest table, like the most fun table, but we were the loudest. And I remember like we were just getting loads of photos done and everything. And then I was up again this year and the photographer went, oh, the cleaning lassie. And I was like, shit, what a reputation. He's going to think I'm steaming again.
Yeah.
But through that, I just met so many great people. But the downside of that was that was one of the biggest like moments of seeing who's there for you. Because like to me, I was like, look at me, I'm doing this, like everybody check me out, like I'm doing it. And some of like some of my pals are great when it comes to supporting me. I mean, like if I go off grid for a couple of days, they're like, headspace all right, want a coffee,
Yeah,
do you need
checking
anything? Like, or they'll just like pop up and be like, have you eaten? Like, here, have a sandwich, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Like they've been there through the darkest days and like champion me like on my good days. But see, when it came to like the whole voting link thing, I seen some people that like I like valued so much not sharing or making a like thing of it, but sharing that Molly May and Tommy Fury split up. And I was like, right, hold on a second here. You're going to share on social media about somebody splitting up that you've never met, probably never will meet. They're like buying, like, this sounds like I've got something against Molly May. I don't, like, she doesn't bother me. But, like, she released a clothing range and, like, people are splurging their money on it. And then if they ask me for a price for a clean, they're like, oh, a bit expensive.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've just spent £70 on a blazer. Like,
Yeah. I know. I think that's very interesting what you said there, because I think that myself, and I think when I speak to a lot of other business owners, they feel the same ways, that when you start a business, all your friends, all your family, you know, people in your closest circle say, listen, they give you the impression, I'll support you, I'll support your business, you know, if anything I need of yours, you'll be the first person I come to. See, as time starts to progress, then that, I think, when you start a business, is the real test of who your friends actually are. Because I find my biggest supporters are strangers that people I don't even know. I feel I get more supportive messages from people that I've never even met in my life. And they're just following you on the journey. Whereas you're right, your closest circle tell you they're interested, but the people that share your posts the least, the people that interact with you the least. So it's strange. I don't know why. It's like a UK culture thing. I don't know why it is.
And they seem to think, like, if you're self-employed, if they ask you to do something, they're just expecting you to cancel work for the day. You're self-employed, you can take that day off. I no bother.
Listen,
I'll just lose it in a day's wage for that. Like,
I see that all the time. I think you'll never be able to, unless you have walked the walk of an entrepreneur, a business owner, self-employment, however you want to brand that, doctor it up, you will never ever understand. Because you're right, I feel like people think the same thing about me, is that you have the flex. Like, listen, I do like to enjoy, like you said earlier on, I go sit in the moment in Dubai, right? Part of working for yourself is you get to enjoy the flexibility. You don't need to ask anybody to, you know, can you go and get your hair cut? Can you go to the dentist? Can you go to the doctors? That is the positives, right? Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hell that comes with, you know, 'cause nobody's paying your wages, right? Nobody is you. It's 100% on you. But by the same point, I don't think some people in your circle understand that. So you go, oh, it's all right, we can make plans for this, because I think some people think you don't actually work when you work for yourself.
Honestly, or that it's that we've got this life of bliss. And see, trying to explain to like some people that it's not a case of I just go and clean and then come home and feet up and that's me. Like, and then need to do like the admin side of it all, which is like your invoices and getting back to people and coming up with content and all this. Like, and then you can't mentally switch off because it's like, I want to do this with my business. Oh, that's a good idea. Like, it's so much harder, but I love it. And see the people that I have lost along the way. I'm like, right, that was a chapter. It's done. Like, if you're not supporting me, then what are you bringing to the table? And it sounds so selfish, but I've went through experiences and had too much of an expectation of people sometimes that they'll be with me through that. And when I say to them, like, no, I'm not going to be the party girl anymore. No, like, I don't want to go out in the piss. Like, do you know what I mean? Then I'm not of value to them. So it's just it's a weird one.
Yeah, you definitely do need to leave people behind, and they need to, you know, get out of your way on your journey. Because there is people, and I have some people, you know, within my circle who have not grown up. And that's fine. We can all do what you want with your own life. It's down to you. But when you're trying to go one way and somebody else is remaining stagnant, I think that's where sometimes there's a wee bit of friction.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to take your life in a different direction. Let's be straight here, right? Listen, I had a great time in my 20s, right? I'm not going to deny that, right? I'm absolutely not going to deny that, right? But that was my 20s. I'm in my 30s now, right? And see, when I look back, right, I was always a guy, I had to be the clown on every single night out. Didn't want to miss a night out, right? It was, what do they call it now? Fear of missing out, right? That was, I don't think that was a thing back. FOMO, aye. I don't think that was a thing back then, but clearly that's what I definitely had, right? But then see, when you grow up, you realise there is nothing happening at the pub. There is nothing happening at the nightclub, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing happening, different from one night out to the other. They're just all the fucking same.
Yeah.
So why not do something with that time that's actually productive, that you can actually bring something to the party in your own life and other people's, than wasting your time in the pub?
Yeah. Someone also sliced my ego once, though. They literally went, "Oh, she's just a cleaner."
Oh.
See that word, just? I was ready to take that and ram it. Yeah. I was like, what do you think I actually do? Oh, washed in the kitchen tops and that? No. Mm-mm. And also, I'm not just a cleaner. I'm also a flipping therapist, a dog behaviourist. Do you know what I mean? Like, I end up in people's houses. I go through...
a counsellor.
Yeah. Like, I've seen it all, like, their breakups or their kids' first day of school, or... Do you know what I mean? Like... Like, if they have a loss in the family or something, or a promotion, like, I'm in amongst it all as well. So I'm like, I'm not just a cleaner.
Yeah. I used to get that all the time when I was in the motor trade, when I was a car salesman. And people would say that, like, oh, are you just a salesman?
Yeah.
Are you just a salesman? And I used to think to myself, just wait till we get to the finance proposal stage and I see your income, right?
You just
well, see, I'm just a car salesman then. Like, we'll be decided in a few minutes. But aye, it's a cultural thing, isn't it? Do you think you could ever return back to employment?
Never.
No, neither could I.
I would always make it work somehow. There's been months where I'm like, shit, how am I going to pay rent? Like, that was a wee bit of a blip.
Yeah.
But I would never let somebody else have the opportunity to decide how my life goes. As cheesy as that sounds,
I agree.
I won't let anybody cap my wage, decide my time.
Yeah.
I think this comes from my dad's side, because he was self-employed, like, and a lot of that side of the family were, whereas my mum's side have all worked for someone else because they prefer the stability and knowing this income's coming in then. But I was always like, but what else? Yeah. Like, come on, let's get it going.
You've got that wee burn to, burn the desire to, right, what is there? There's got to be more. There's got to be more to this. But I think the same as you. And I think when I look back, I think to myself, listen, I would never change my previous job, especially in a corporate career. It teaches you all the stuff that you've spoken about a minute ago when you start a business: systems, processes, tax, accountancy, how to manage people, how to manage yourself, probably, how to conduct yourself, especially in a world with social media now, where you are more accountable than you've ever been. So I would never change it. But at the same point, I go, I can't believe I allowed somebody to rule my life. Yeah. Right. I was talking to somebody the other day, somebody in the police, and they said,
"I'm talking to the police, eh?"
nothing bad, thankfully. But she basically said that, I've got 2 rest days, and see, even that terminology, right, it's as if like the employer's like, you're mine. You're working around these hours, and by the way, I'll give you a few rest days, right? It's even that terminology. I'm like, no, it's my time. Yeah. I'll donate my time to you in return for a salary. That's how it works. And see, without that time, that's my time. But it's even like some of that terminology. Yeah. It's your rest day. Resting from what? I'm not, not resting from you. It's the opposite. It's the opposite way about. But no, I could never return back. But let's be, in the art of transparency, right? Working for yourself is hell. As hell, when there is all the positives, but being realistic about it as well. You're 100% responsible. At least if you are in employment, right, and you hate the place, you're having a crap day, there's still cash getting dumped in your account. Yeah. You can go in with a shit attitude, no like the place, be a disruptor if you want, but you're still getting a wage at the end of the month. But when you are working for yourself or responsible for any other people or employees, you're the last person to eat. Yeah. You're the last person to get a wage. And that is difficult.
Do you know the weirdest bit that I didn't think about when going self-employed was Christmas nights out. Like, seeing everybody going like, oh, Christmas night out, and I sat there like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, well, just go to the pub in class. That's my
Yeah.
Christmas night out. And then I'm like, do I hold something for my punters? But that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't know each other. Like,
Mhm.
it's bizarre.
I
So
know.
hopefully we'll have the staff rolling this time. So I'll get an actual Christmas night
Yeah.
out.
I was going to say, if you get anybody working for you.
No, so I put the little toe in the pool and started interviewing.
Right.
And then I hit self-destruct. Like, oh my God, it was that fear of I'm responsible for that person. Like, it's essentially I'm making sure food's on their table, they've got a roof over their head.
Yeah.
What if people don't pay me? Am I going to have enough for them?
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with the amount that I had contingency.
Right.
But now, round 2, we're going again.
We're going.
Yeah, I'm going to done my little Canva design while I was in Starbucks before here. So
Oh, happy days.
we're going.
So if there's anybody listening
Yeah,
that wants to
part-time or
work,
full-time.
right, I'll drop all your social handles in the show
Yeah.
notes below anyway, so reach out to you.
Yeah.
So that's good though, that your business is now at a stage where you are ready to
Yeah.
bring employees on, start expanding and start to grow the business.
And it is going to be that new, like, you know, the wee adventures that you go on in your mind, like from this point to that point. And then it's like, you know, you're just going to have to, you're going to experience new things. Like if they phone and pull a sickie, how do I deal with that? Or do you know what I mean? There's probably going to be days where I'll do their head in, they'll do my head in. How do you keep the motivation going? I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also terrified at the same time.
I think given the fact of that you've had a few bad experiences in employment, as much as I said earlier on, certainly my job, it teaches you how to manage certain situations. But also you learn how not to treat people.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got people working for you, then when you've not been treated the best, then it certainly will make you a better employer by having those shit experiences previously.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think a lot of people think about it that way.
Yeah.
You know, there's what you're learning in terms of the positive stuff, but you also take stuff at the negative as well and go, hold on, see if that was my business, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And the mistakes I made when I first went free, shall we say, because this was like mortifying, but there was someone who booked in with me quite early on through my Facebook page. So I was like, wow, look at me getting bookings through that. And I turned up at their door and they'd never had a cleaner before. And I'd never had like a blind interaction like with someone before, didn't know who they were, had no mutuals. I was like, oh, hello.
I get everybody else previously had been referred to you or like complete, you know, cold reaching out to you.
Yeah. And so my anxiety kicked in, and when that kicks in, you get the full life story. So I started telling him about my bad dating stories.
Right.
Like, never met me before, and I was just like, here, I went on a really bad date last weekend, wait till I tell you. But then
Panic mode kicking in, what do they talk about here?
Aye. But then every time I turn up, they're like, right, what's the bad date week this week? And I was like, oh my God, man, like, what have I done?
What have I started here? I'm holding a can of worms.
Oh God, and they were looking forward to it, and I was like, this isn't a part of the service. Like, so I would make sure when I hire someone being like, right, you can chat, but let's not get the full life story.
Are you known as that person every time you go in?
Aye. Like, they were like, oh, you're like the new Carrie Bradshaw. I was like, cheers, try to be Mrs. Hinch, but I'll take it.
What's the story behind the Mrs. Hinch follows you? Is that correct?
Oh my God, yes. I am Hinch approved.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. A lot of people, like a lot of cleaners in the industry, can't stand her.
Right, okay.
And it's because they're like, she's promoting products that like are harmful to use in your lungs every day, or you shouldn't use that in this surface. And it's like, well, look, at the end of the day, she was always transparent, and it was, she just had anxiety and was cleaning her house. People followed it. Like, people are like saying that they've got in debt because of her and things, like buying all the time. And it's like, well, she's not like liable for that. Like,
nobody's forced you to buy anything.
Yeah.
Get yourself into debt.
Yeah, she's done well, and she's actually brought such a big spotlight to the industry, and in turn, we've now got access to like more products and equipment and things because people do want to make money from it.
Yeah.
So I was actually working for, doing a clean for a company, and they had this big warehouse at the back. And again, a rat had just ran over my foot, and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, this is not glam. And it was about 20 to 10 at night.
Right.
And the notification came up, Mrs. Hinch, now following you. There was nobody about in this place, and I was buzzing. So I phoned my mum, Tina, guess what? And she was like, is this what you're phoning me for at this time of night?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but it's her. She's looked at my face.
That tells you that your socials are working then.
See, weirdly, from her following, you get a wee like harem of people like also coming, and it gives you that weird like certification of this is a good wee cleaning account.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. I'm on the right path here.
Yeah. And it was the same, like Stacey Solomon replied to something and I lost my mind. Like, I love her.
Yeah.
And again, it's just because it does bring that popularity to the industry.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Jesus, the amount of people that are like, I'm just going to become a cleaner, like a side hustle.
Yeah.
See if this was side hustleable. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I'd have done that.
Yeah.
It's not. It grows arms and legs so fast.
Yeah.
It is a great career, but it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, go back to doing the whole like trading thing, watching your phone. Like, it's just, it's hard.
I think it's a tough one, and people. So I've had that as well, and people think I'll do what you're doing as like a additional income. You're like, no, this is like a real thing. This isn't.
It's scary as well though, because there's not many regulations for the industry either. You don't need licenses, qualifications, anything like that. It's helpful if you do, like what they say. And that terrifies me, because you see on social media that there's just people going into people's homes and mixing stuff they should not be mixing.
Right.
And you've seen fails of, they've created mustard gas in the fire, the engine needs to come out and all this. And it's like, this is why there needs to be some sort of at least guidance, or just something needs to be done, because it's so easy to get into, but people are just getting into homes and ruining surfaces. Or
What do you think? I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion on it? Do you think it's like because let's be honest, most other industries are very heavy regulated, like sometimes over regulated. But your industry is virtually not regulated.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what do you think would be a solution in your opinion? Like an individual license, like some kind of scheme? I mean, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I would love it if it was licensed. Like, see, even just minimal, like COSH, which is like basically essentially mixing chemicals and things and which ones are safe and things. Or like having to do a qualification, just something to have under your belt. Again, because the risks are huge, and there's people going in and doing cleans and doing needle sweeps, and they're not even using the correct PPE and things like this, and they're causing a danger to the customer, a danger to themselves. But on the flip side, how would they monitor it? Like, because like me and a few others have been like, is there a way that we can kind of start to campaign for it? But then again, you get people on social media like, hey, I'd send to know if there's a cleaner available. I would rather use somebody that's not a company. That baffles me. Do you know what I mean? Because then you just see people, I can help you, I'll do it, me. And it's like, there's going to be people out there that don't give a fuck. Like, who's coming into their home? So, an answer, I would love it if there was, but I can never see it happening.
No. Strange as well in a country that's so heavy regulated in other forms.
Yeah.
Especially as well, you're inviting a stranger.
Yeah.
You're inviting a stranger into your house, whether it is a reputable company like yourself or whoever it may be, still a stranger to that individual.
Yeah.
And you're inviting them into your home and you know absolutely nothing about them, and all you're doing is taking their word for them.
Yeah.
It's quite mental when you think about that. Where else would you invite? You wouldn't invite a stranger into your house in any other environment. You invite a tradesman in, they're going to be regulated, whether it's a sparky, a plumber, joiner, whatever it may be, they're going to be regulated.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can invite somebody from that world in, and not a second thought on it.
No.
That's mental.
Yeah. Because like, even if I'm doing work in a house and they've got like other workmen in the house, like maybe doing like another room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know that they're cushy, but how do they know that I'm?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Weird terminology.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cushy, like.
Sorry, it's probably mainly everybody from Scotland that we're watching this anyway, so we're alright, everybody will know what you're saying. But so going back a wee bit, talking about social media, right? Obviously you've got a great online presence. Have you faced any like negativity around social media?
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
I used to work in a club. I'll tell you the name of it after.
Okay.
It's not a dodgy one. It's not strippers or anything like that. Sounded bizarre.
I was going to say, is there a reason why you want to keep that off for the camera?
But I've always been, as I've said, the wee chatty one. Do you know what I mean? And in this club, a lot of the girls that worked there didn't like me because I didn't fit in any wee cliques, but I wouldn't conform to any wee cliques. And so literally like online they were posting photos of me if I was seen in public, like slashing me. Like I still to this day get so nervous to wear shorts because they were coming out with things like, can you stop wearing shorts? Your cellulite's disgusting. Like going on about my makeup, my appearance and things like this. And it got to the point where I phoned the police and they were like, have they turned up or done anything? And I was like, all right, cheers for that.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'd wait until they do.
Yeah, I think a lot of time emotional abuse is worse than physical abuse.
So I just took a step back, came off social media for a while. Like this was a good few years ago. But I was very hesitant coming back into the social media world. So I was mainly just doing like pictures of my food. Like, oh, this is a bougie breakfast. Like, look at that avocado.
Yeah, watching
you know?
your posting.
Yeah. But then, as I said, this is when the whole Geordie Shore thing started coming about as well. And it was, you were seen to be the best wee guy if you were steaming in your pictures out all the time. So then my social media became that. So you're looking back on that now, I'm like, what?
Aye, what was I doing?
Oh my God, and one of my accounts I can't get back into, like, 'cause I forgot the password, so it's just all there.
Yeah, it's all there.
Like that. Oh God. But now, I used to be like, oh, social media is like bad for everyone, but I love it. Like, the mindset I now have with it is folk are going to watch, some are probably going to have a comment. I don't know who they are. Like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? They're spending more time typing out their wee nasty message or comment on TikTok or whatever than I'm going to spend thinking about them.
Aye.
I've like scrolled on, I'm in the next dog video and I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's funny because I always think to myself, the ones that are this is how I picture those people, right? They're always on TikTok, like user, I don't know, 24856, right? They've never got a profile picture, right?
Yeah.
And see, when I see that, I think to myself, I can probably picture a guy, right, who is playing his Xbox, right, and he's got like fucking 4 screens, right, with pizza boxes, like right up to the sky, right.
Don't set my OCD off.
Aye, right. You know, you can picture who's behind that, right? And that's when you then start to go, hold on, but see the people like us, see the people, the entrepreneurs, right? We are sit outside that circle, and that's why, from you've even said, from such a young age, we stand out. We are different. We're generally not liked to a degree because we will test the situation. We will push boundaries. We're not conforming to, you know, any dictatorial situations. But we are a select few people that get to do something different with our lives. That's for us. Well, see everybody else who's in that wee circle. They're doing it for everybody else. They're not doing it for themselves. They're away ticking themselves up to buying a car to please Instagram, away buying a big house to please Instagram. But see, deep down, they're financially crippled. Well, see, we're sitting on the outside, no giving a shit. Yeah. That is really the fact. It's always back to that user, 24856. It's never somebody with, it's never a genuine like person with loads of followers, you know, loads of tags, loads of profile pictures,
or somebody that looks like Tom Hardy. Like.
Exactly. You're right. There is a lot of like fake pictures and that go about. And you're like, that's not you. like a picture of Piers Brosnan or something like that. And I'm like, always strange characters. But I think though, it's important to note that, you know, I think what you're probably saying as advice to anybody is just ignore it. Because there's people that will get. At one point, you've openly admitted and said that you do get to that. I mean, I've had it myself. Like touch wood, thankfully, I've not had a lot of negativity. Probably after I'm saying that now, people just
I'm going to comment like mad
comment.
after this. Worst guy.
Comment off the back of it. I have had some, but by the same point at the start, I mean, you feel like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Right? It's like a Glaswegian thing, your back up, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Right? But by the same point, you're right, just turn off, man, because that's most likely who's sitting in the end of the screen. But
there's that thing as well, like, if you're going to go live, you have to be ready for somebody's going to say something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's, you can, if mentally you don't have the capacity for that, avoid it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be a much more open conversation of, like, not, there's always going to be the conversation of people saying, like, more needs to be done, don't say nasty things. But we also need to flip that and be like, people are going to be dicks. People like to see you do well, but not better than them. And
Yeah.
I stand by that.
yeah,
They're going to come for you. They don't want to see you doing well. They don't want to, like, see you, like, getting to choose your life and your own path. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's even with wee things as well. Like, I actively don't want kids.
Right.
Like, and some people on the internet cannot stand that. And they're at home with like 3 kids and they're miserable because they're not getting them time or doing what they want to do. And it's like, don't project your thing onto me. Like, I'm open to hearing your points, but at the same time, I'm just brushing it off, being like, no,
Yeah.
I'm online. I've said what I've said. That's what you think about
Yeah.
it. Cool. Catch you.
yeah. I think it's important to note as well I think that's where some people's problems lie, is that we're never always going to agree on certain subjects.
Yeah.
Right? See if that's your opinion, whether it's around the child situation or anything else, then people should respect that's your opinion. See if I've got the complete opposite opinion, that's also fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to argue about it, right? But just respect it, that's my opinion, and I'll respect that's your opinion, and then we'll just go on with our lives.
It was like mine when it was the independence vote.
Yeah.
Oh, social media was insufferable when that was happening.
It's like there's just like a divide in the camp.
Aye.
Right? Everybody all arguing in social media and that. And you're like,
Yeah, the paragraphs and paragraphs that some people were
people sit
posting
in
in
the house like
debates.
that for ages, like just typing and typing and typing.
Oh, I loved it.
But the thing is, where is it now?
I know.
Like, see all that time and energy that people have spent on there, where is it now?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh.
But lastly, anybody that's in their corporate job who, because we'll have all been there, I've been there, you've been there, you're in a job and you're like listen, I know there's something better out there, and you've got the fear of, oh no, 'cause I'm going to go and I'm not getting a wage, and all the fears that people get as to why they wouldn't want to leave their corporate job. What's that lasting bit of advice that you would give somebody who wants to get out their job and has that fear?
There's never going to be the right time. Just do it. Like, don't wait until such and such or until you've got like 3 more wages. Just do it. If you do it when you're at your lowest, you're going to graft so much harder to make it work. If you do it when you think you're too comfortable, you're not going to push yourself as hard. So just go for it and you will never look back. As cheesy as it is, it's the best thing.
No. That's some good part words. I like it.
So wise.
I like it. That's some wise words there. Well, listen, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. I think we'll do is like this time next year. Let's get you back on once you've recruited some staff, see where the businesses went, see where you've grown, and we can reflect back on that.
Hopefully I'm not coming back on it finished.
Not at all. I don't believe you've not come this far. You
Yeah.
don't come this far for it to fail.
Yeah.
So no.
And you budget for cleaners.
Yes,
on
I
your
will.
property journey.
So we've learned a lot out of this.
Yeah.
No, that's been good. Listen, thank you.
Thank you.
No, that was class.